Good morning. It is Monday. It is time for work. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And it's also time to talk about the Monday night game. Tonight, we have Fenris, Session 0. Now, because of that, I don't really have a lot of predictions. We're going to talk about character creation. We're going to discuss how we're starting the game. We're going to have basically two pre-established groups that are going to be merging together in this game. We're going to have a group of Fenrisian citizens, and we're going to have a group that are the survivors of a crashed spelljemming ship. So we're going to have two groups which each internally trust each other, and are going to have to find a way to trust each other. It should be interesting. We have some characters that have some inbuilt drama and clash, which, if you get the right level of that, always makes for a fun game. Too much of it kills the game. Not enough of it, and things get a bit stagnant. So I'm hoping that will be good. Yeah, that's about it. I'm hoping that we get to a point at the end of the night that we can kind of kick off the role play with a bit of a timed event. If not, we'll start out next week's game with that event. But yeah, it should be fun. What I'd like to do, though, is spend, 4 or 5 minutes talking about why I believe Session 0 is so important to a game. Now, it used to really not be a thing. You used to not hear about Session 0s. Of course, then a lot of people never really numbered their sessions, so maybe that's why the term itself wasn't a thing. But you never really used to hear about game nights where all you did was character creation. A lot of times you just come in, you either have your characters built before the game, or you'll roll them up real quick right at the start, and then you'd start gaming. And everything would be figured out along the way. And I played that way for years. I always thought that was just kind of it. The game that really changed my mind on that, funnily enough, was not Dungeons and Dragons. It was a game called Dangerous Journeys. And this was another Gary Gygax game. Never made it as big as D&D. Probably because it's a lot more complex and convoluted to play. But this game had a hugely robust character creation setup. And this setup took an awful lot of time. I mean, it took a long time. It took enough time that sometimes we ended up having 1 or 2 game nights just building the characters because of how complex the system was. But the system allowed for growth along the way. It allowed you to change things. And of course, you're all sat around together, so, oh, I rolled this on this table, oh, I rolled this, oh, well, I've rolled, an ally from my childhood, oh, well, I could be that ally, oh, well, and you start talking amongst each other, and you start building connections between characters based on these random experiences, or these random rolls, or whatever else. And I always thought it was very beneficial. I thought we always came out of it having a better understanding of who each other was, which obviously makes for a smoother game. D&D, because of the way character creation works, has never really had that. Some of the supplemental books have some added, random history tables and things like that. But it's never really been part of creation to the point that it really encouraged that. So the Session Zero kind of brings that back in. It says, okay, well, maybe you have your characters. Maybe you have them, maybe you don't. Maybe you're halfway through and still working out a few things. Let's all get together. Let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about kind of where we think the game's going to go. Let's build everything up. Let's kind of get an initial feel for each other out of character, of the characters we're playing, so that when the character actually does show up in front of you, even if your character is meeting them for the first time, you as a player will have already had a chance to kind of work out a few ideas about what you would be thinking. And it gives you a basis to then roll into Session 1 and start the game. So, I always say a Session 0 is a very good thing to run. I enjoy running them. I think that they're a good night. They're kind of a low-pressure game night. You end up with a lot of kind of hanging out amongst the group, which is also positive. You also end up with a better understanding rolling into Session 1 of what's going on. So, I'm going to leave it there today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope I've not rambled too much and it's made a little bit of sense. Like, subscribe. I always appreciate it. And have a great day.